Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Melina's going to do something with the next video. She's going to wear an accessory, either a police hat or something. She's going to do something. She's going to do something. Because you know how Mileena hates it when she does nothing, right? You know how Mileena hates it when she does nothing. Alright, she's got to do something. Now, you know what? Mileena is very busy in her personal life. She works more than 40 hours a week, and look how many videos I'm able to accomplish. So imagine if I was famous and getting paid solely on YouTube, making enough of a salary on YouTube to just do YouTube videos. Now, she does want to work still. Now, you're thinking, okay, if you're rich enough on YouTube, why would you work? Work grounds you. Work settles you into a place where you're not worried about fantasy land all day long, and you're not stuck in this kind of place where you're always like, oh, everything's about the paparazzi and all this. And I mean, I'm not going to worry about the paparazzi because I don't live in a city with the paparazzi, but you're not worried about the paparazzi and all that because working is a grounding kind of thing, and you learn, right? Like, you're actually doing a task that maybe you wouldn't rather be doing, but you learn. You're doing things that maybe you would be out of your choice zone, but you're like, if I do this quickly, as productivity is required, and I love doing things quickly, but if I do this quickly, I'm learning at a faster rate, and I'm learning about different people and different things and all this. So you know what? It's really fun to work. Now, I won't need the money, obviously, if I'm famous on YouTube, but that's even a better bonus, right? Like, I'll get paid from the job that I'm doing, but I won't even need the money, which will be really nice. Now, of course, being a famous YouTuber, a lot of people will choose to be famous on YouTube and not work because they don't want to have to work. Because if you make money on YouTube, you're like, well, I don't need to make money, so I've got enough money on YouTube, I'll just do that. And maybe I would. But for now, the thought is I'm going to work still because I like work. And I do like to have kind of like that kind of like different kind of thing where you're engaging with people and not about your hobby as a YouTuber or your famous hobby. So if you're not doing your famous hobby, you want to have something where you're grounded and you're not worried about whether you're making a good impression. Now, I mean, people at my work were saying to me, they're like, well, if you get a lot of interviews and you get a lot of production and you're doing a lot of production and you're doing all this, then how are you going to find time for work? And maybe that's true. I mean, if I'm so much in demand that I'm not able to work a job because I'm doing interviews and all that, then yes, obviously I would have to do just this solely. And I mean, people that are celebrities are so busy. Some of them are like busy for like years on end, and until they stop, they don't realize how much work they've been doing. They kind of have to do it because you, as a celebrity type, you have to do that kind of stuff to stay in the game and stay focused on what the main goal is. So you have to do that stuff. You can't just leave it. Like Shania Twain left it, and now she's finally back to a look where she looks amazing again. But she left it for so long that she was kind of like looking. She didn't, obviously she's not chubby. She's not a chubby girl, but she was bigger and not as beautiful as she typically was. And you're like, oh, we love Shania. We want her to be pretty. And Shania's like ultimately pretty, like gorgeous, like crazy, like Mileena gorgeous in a woman, right? So you're like, well, we want Shania to be that pretty. So when Shania wasn't that pretty, I mean, she's pretty all the time, but when she wasn't that pretty, you're like, oh, we were disappointed. We liked the Shania before. But we liked the new Shania because she was the same Shania, but you know what I mean. So now Shania, I saw her 3 weeks ago. She posted a video 3 weeks ago. She looks phenomenal again. She's going to pull off a good look again. So really happy for her. Must have taken a lot of work because she was kind of looking a bit bigger before. But now she's finally back to the way she was. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the Shania I love. So anyway, with that being said, it might be that I have to do interviews and all performances all the time, and then I'd be too busy to work a job. But I mean, for me, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I mean, for me, I just think it's really important to stay grounded, And I mean, if you do interviews and you're grounded and you're not worried about fame and you're doing a lot of shows and you're still grounded, you're not worried about, oh my God, I'm so great, everyone loves me, which is a great feeling, obviously. But when you take it too far and you're in your own world all the time because of it, that's where it gets to be bad. Like, I mean, I'm not famous yet, so for me it's not a big deal. But like someone like Madonna, like, I don't know how she stays grounded all the time. Like, she's the it thing, right? She's like the it girl. So when you see that, you're just like, oh my goodness, like. but she stays grounded. She has kids. She seems like a very well-adjusted young woman. Even though she's older, she seems like a well-adjusted young woman and a very pretty one, and very successful and manages to keep her success at bay. So she's able to do that, and she's like unlike a Whitney Houston type who fell between the cracks. But Madonna's able to do that, and of course we love her because we know she's going to do that for a long time. Because like Cher, she's going to exist forever, right? Um, so we would love that, right? So yes, so Madonna is the be all end all. So she's grounded. So maybe for me I would be grounded too. But I mean, I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking like a job is good, but who knows? I mean, if I get really really famous, then I really don't need the money. But for me, I kind of feel like if I was just to, get up every day and just focus on this, I mean, this is great. I love it. I love it so much. But the fact that I love it so much is because I counterbalance it with work, which I love work too, but it's kind of a nice balancing act, right? But if I'm just like having to get up just for interviews and all this, and what if you're nervous, or what if you don't want to go to the interview, or it's like a person that you don't like or whatever, I don't know. I mean, but I'll play it by ear. But I'm thinking, to me, it sounds, even if I work 10 hours a week or 20 hours a week, I would like that, It kind of makes me grounded and makes me like realize, yes, I have a deadline. Things are on a deadline. When you have productivity at work, they don't care who you are. They're not going to be concerned whether you're a celebrity or not. You have to get the job done. So you're treated like a regular person. So that would be something I'd miss, with the fact that I'd always be about this. But I mean, I love being treated like a star, treated like a starlet, but sometimes you want that whole, you're not going fast enough. Oh, yes, I am. I'll go faster. And then they're just like, they don't care that you're like Shania Twain or Mileena, even Mileena or Madonna. They don't care. They want you to do a good job, right? The job is about the place you work at. It's not about you as a celebrity. So that's why they want you to do a good job. So when you do a good job for them, you're like, well, then at least you're not worried about, oh, I should be at an interview and I don't want to go, and then you don't go, and then you keep postponing things, and then you're like, but if you have a job where you're working at least 20 hours a week, you're not going to be afraid of the interview because you've got all these things going on. And not that I would be afraid of an interview. I mean, the person has to be someone I like, and then I would definitely go, of course. But I mean, you know what I mean. The whole fame thing, it does work for a lot of people, but some people really get messed up by it, and you're like, okay, like, don't get messed up by it. But the way people wouldn't get messed up by it, I think, is if they have something to ground them, which is like a regular, steady job. Like for me, I really think that's something I would do. I don't know. I'm learning. Yeah, and then, for me, I don't like to read unless I'm forced to, or I don't like to do certain things unless I'm forced to. So making videos I'm not forced to, but I love it. But when you're at work, you're forced to do things that maybe you wouldn't normally do, but you're learning. You're actually learning about different people, different cultures. The people that phone you have a different friendly mannerism, or maybe they have a mean mannerism, and you're like, I'm a celebrity type, why would you do that? But you don't say that, obviously, but you're like, why would you do that? But you're just thinking to yourself, like, this puts you out of your comfort zone. I mean, I love work, don't get me wrong, but it puts you out of your comfort zone because it's things you wouldn't typically do because it's not for yourself. But doing things that are not for yourself are really good sometimes. So anyway, click that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Alright, totally enjoy. Bye now.